Well, it was yesterday afternoon in Foxborough. The Indianapolis Colts were in town, and we had an exciting, action-packed first quarter.
May with a fake inside, a shovel pass ahead to Hunter Henry. Runs straight ahead, out of an ankle tackle at the 10, and he topples down to the 6-yard line. And the Patriots have a 1st and goal to go.
Wow, Alex Van Pelt being very multiple here on his first drive. He fakes it to him underneath to the left, and then he flips it to Hunter Henry on a shovel pass. That's Kansas City-esque.
Well, easy with the Kansas City-esque.
I was just happy for creativity, to be honest with you. Well, I was just happy they went out there and tried something we had never seen before. There was a 4th down play where Jacoby Brissett came in and handed the ball off to a wide receiver. Hey, new stuff.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. Ramondre Stevenson got loose for a 32-yard run on that opening drive, so they drove down the field. Joey Slye kicked a 35-yard field goal. Boom. You're up 3-0. The Colts would then answer with an 8-play touchdown drive. Don't worry about that. So what? So what? Doesn't matter. The Pats had a lot of mo. They had a lot of mo.
2nd and 5 officially under pressure. He's going to tuck it and run. Galloping 40, 45, 50. Indianapolis terrain 45, 40, 35, 30. He takes on a defender and he's thrown to the turf inside the Colts 25.
The kid's got some crazy legs, man. Backside, nobody's there, and he is gone. Nice job. Block it downfielder. I think it's Booty.
Oh.
Well, I think it's booty. Booty.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Booty. That's what it is.
That's awesome.
I was thinking. I
Play that more.
As soon as he said that, I thought the same thing. I always do. It's funny.
Well, I think it's booty.
That's what it is.
Yes. The Pats would cap off that with another field goal, score 7-6. So we're still in the first quarter. When we got
Richardson, push up the middle, throw down the middle, it's tipped, it's going to be intercepted by Ellis off the deflection from Tavai. He does a U-turn at the 45, he's tackled at the 41. Turnover, forced by New England.
Nice one. Zone pick right there off the deflection. Feels good to turn the football over defense, doesn't it? Nice hands.
And that would lead to another Joey Slye field goal. So the Patriots haven't been in the end zone yet.
I'm sensing a pattern.
But they're up 9-7 after the first frame. Thinking, we got a football game to watch here. Eventually they'll get into the end zone, and they did. Touchdown apiece in the second quarter. Pats are down in the red zone, looking like they're threatening again, but this would end up becoming one of the themes of the day.
Shotgun snap to May. Back a couple of steps. Scans the middle. Rolls to his left. He's chased by a pair of defenders. A final play. Drake hits the deck short of the 5-yard line. Now with 20 seconds on the clock, they got a pair of flags on the field against New England.
Thing 1 and thing 2 are both going to get called for holding here. It's like
now the Patriots will send Slye out for another field goal try.
Okay. 4 of the 5 offensive linemen got called for at least one hold in the first half. The only guy who avoided it was the center. Everyone else got called for at least one hold. That's ridiculous. That's got to be a record.
Thing 1 and thing 2. But that's okay. Joey Slye's coming out on the field. We're just going to kick another field goal, right?
Long red sleeves takes the snap, and the kick is airborne to the uprights, and the kick is no good.
What?
Slye missed it.
It's a chip shot.
Joey Slye and the Patriots with the missed field goal attempt.
He's got too many of those lately.
With the kick hooking.
Oh, man, it's not even close. Shanked it.
You know what? He almost missed the net behind the goalpost from 25 yards. I can do that.
Yeah.
You guys can do that.
Yeah, he's not good.
Man.
He's not good. Remember when they didn't do the they didn't even attempt the kick, like a 55-yard kick. Was it last week when
it was last week. They turned that down because they watched Slye during warm-ups. And Gerard Mayo was like, no, we're not doing
Well,
this.
they watched him during warm-ups yesterday, and they thought that he could hit anything. They thought he could set records. So, yeah, but I won't give that away yet. As if you heard Mayo's, did you guys hear his press conference afterwards?
Yes.
He had seen Slye kicking before the game. So he's like, this kid could hit from 80.
Yeah.
I don't got no problems with him.
Well, the Patriots had a 16-14 lead at the half. So let's go to the second half where the Colts would retake the lead with a field goal. They're up 17-16. That was the only scoring in the third quarter. Patriots almost scored. They almost scored.
The snap to May. Throws it over the middle, and the ball toward Henry is deflected and picked off. It's run back by Blackman to the left across the 15. He is tackled at the 16-yard line. Drake May tried to fit one into Hunter Henry. A low throw across the middle.
Unnecessary. Why is he referring to just calling him a black man? Just saying return by black man. I mean, that's you can't. You got to identify them by their name.
Drake May tried to fit one into Hunter Henry. A low throw across the middle, and the ball off a deflection is intercepted.
You missed the part.
Excellent throw.
Yeah, well,
down low.
Okay, do you really want to?
Yeah, he was saying return by black man.
Got to point this out. It's very important.
Yeah, it was.
We'll talk to Bob about being racist later.
Middle, and the ball toward Henry is deflected and picked off. It's run back by Blackman to the left across the.
Okay. I think Bob has some things to answer.
It's like
for
my
it.
grandfather calling a game.
The black guy's got the ball, and there's another black guy trying to stop him.
Right.
There's a whole lot of black men going around town.
It was a very good pass. I heard Zoe getting all over Hunter Henry there. Yeah, that's one that you would rather he catch, but that thing was rifled. That thing was, you talk about them being Kansas City-esque early. That was Brett Favre-esque. Let me just rifle this thing at you and see if you can catch
Tight window.
Yeah, that's the thing is that there is a tight window, and you got to catch that ball.
Yeah, if you're a tight end, and by the way, you're supposed to be his best receiver. Yeah, I mean, he had to reach back for it, fine, but I think he should have had it.
I agree. I mean, when you have to rifle those balls because the area that you have to throw into is so small that you have to get it in there. That's the point of arm strength.
The margin for this team to do well is wider than it was at the beginning of the season, but it's still really tiny. And there was a period of time during the game where they had more touchdowns called back than they had scored. I mean, the penalties were just killing them. And I'm watching Drake May do everything he can to get this team down the field. And every good play he had, they were two bad ones that took plays away from him.
Yes.
I mean, that was you had a touchdown called back because of an illegal motion by Pop Douglas. Now, the next play, Antonio Gibson scored. But, you have these problems with this team.
And that illegal motion, I mean, I understand what it is. But it's also one of those things where I think I see it on a lot of plays. I think I saw it on the very next play.
It gets called. It gets called an infuriatingly large, infuriating amount during every football game. Illegal motion is just always being called. Illegal formation, it's just all over the place. I mean, if these receivers are like a half inch off, now I know you can turn to the line judge and get the thumbs up. But, I mean, if you're in motion and moving around and stuff, there's not time for it.
Right.
They're really ticky-tack.
And their judgment calls, especially on the motion where you can't have that rounded route, kind of like taking that arc back to the line.
That's just ridiculous. They got to – how much does that really affect games? How much does that affect – is that the spirit of the rule?
It acts as a deterrent for other things later. You don't want the NFL to turn into the CFL where everybody's running everywhere at the snap. That's why they're so rigid.
No, I know, but like Hardy's saying, when they're curving or the guy's toe is a little bit of ahead of the guy next to his toe, I mean, that's ridiculous. I don't even understand the point of that rule. What's the point of why receivers can't line up side by side?
You have only so many men technically on the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, but I don't understand why it would negatively affect anyone if the two receivers are next to each other.
You'd have to institute a specific rule because you say, oh, okay, if we're allowed to have 8 guys on the line of scrimmage, then we'll line up a lot of them closer to the line to give ourselves an advantage on a running play.
Why wouldn't you be able to? You should be able to line up 8 guys on the line of scrimmage.
Why? It's always been 7. You're only allowed 7.
No, I know, but it doesn't. Then you could just because that makes it easy.
It gives the offense the advantage over the defense.
Well, you could put 9 guys on the line of scrimmage if you're the defense.
You can,
yeah,
but you don't have that option if it turns into a play fake. The point is, it's easier for the offense to fake the defense out if you have so many people on the line of scrimmage.
Well, But is it? Because even if you go to a 3 tight end set where they know you're going to run, is the tight end having his foot a millimeter behind the other tight end's foot?
Obviously.
I mean, I understand the spirit.
I understand,
of
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean,
do.
You make a good point, but I mean, it's really ticky-tack, and I've just about had it with the NFL when there's something exciting that happens, and then and it ultimately gets called back, and it's some nonsense.
Like the Gibson touchdown run.
Yes, it's just nonsense. Like it's just some pre-snap penalty or some nonsense that just ruins the game, and then you're like, okay, well, this is a lot of fun, and now we've gone over this for 15 years. I don't like the notion that in the NFL you can't celebrate anything. Like something cool happens, and then you got to sit around waiting.
Unless you're on the defense, and then they can do their choreographed routines, which I also don't understand.
I'm not talking about being flagged for a celebration. I'm talking about as a fan, you can't enjoy anything.
There are replays on touchdowns. There are replays on turnovers, and there are ticky-tack things that take touchdowns away.
Like some guy returns a kick for a kickoff for a touchdown, and it's like this super exciting play, and then you got to sit around twiddling your thumbs to see if they called a block in the back or something.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The watching of the game has changed, and now the mood is waiting to see if there's a flag. You can't experience any elation in the moment. You're just waiting to see, and you're watching the players on the field because they're doing the same thing. They're turning around and they're looking. They're looking to see if this whole thing is going to be waved off.
Hey, you know what? Even when the Patriots won the Super Bowl during their big comeback win over Atlanta, you remember James White ran in. Brady's can't run around the field. He's like, "Hold on, we have to see if it stands." And Belichick had to run out on the field and tell him that it stood.
That one though, I think it wasn't about looking for penalties. That one was, did he get in?
Well, I understand, but it looked like he did get in. It was pretty obvious to me that he got in. I thought he was in.
Go back and watch that a few more times.
Well, I've limited myself to 10. I haven't watched any more than 10.
And look, it was James White. Of course he got in. Super Bowl hero.
Yes.
I get it. I was there. It was amazing.
Right. Leave it to you, Hardy, to step on the thing that would have been seamless into the next segment. That's fine. That's fine.
What the hell is he talking about?
All I'm saying is I was just trying to add an anecdote, and you stepped all over it, and you didn't just move on.
What was the anecdote?
My point is
about James White in the Super Bowl. You know damn well
it was a great play you had to wait for. Fred, that was piggybacking off of what Fred had said. It was a play you had to wait for.
That one I get.
Couldn't just let it go.
It wasn't obvious to
me.
Like
you two arguing.
It's not
just let it go.
It's not obvious watching it in replays now.
I can still arguing it.
I can make a case that his knee was down before the ball crossed the plane.
And he's still talking about it.
Yeah, well, because you hold that up as the prime example of something you have to wait for. No, that's one where you legitimately should have waited.
Let the pitch go for a strike. You had to foul it off. That's fine. Go ahead. Keep going.
Now you're never going to get him to stop.
No, it's over.
I thought it was a bad example. Wallach, what do you want me to do? Just agree with everything that you say?
I think just one would have been fine, but you never do. That's fine.
I would agree to you doing the headlines right now, and when we come back, we'll
Oh, there's a segue.
We'll get into the fourth quarter and the decisions made at the end of this game because I understand you're disappointed with the outcome, but it was fascinating. It really was. Watching how the Colts handled their business and what the Patriots tried to do in a last desperate gasp to wrestle victory from the jaws of defeat.
I'll just say that the Colts had done this already this season.
Anthony Richardson is terrible. Anthony Richardson is a terrible quarterback, and they lost to that guy.
Well, the Jets did too, and I'll tell you this, is that the Anthony Richardson's the best quarterback, I would imagine, in the NFL next to Josh Allen, including Baltimore, including
Lamar
Jackson for 2-point conversion. I'd rather have Anthony Richardson, maybe Josh Allen, but Anthony Richardson from the two, you're not stopping him. They can run anything. Like any misdirection, they can run the. I mean, they can basically run the option, and you're not tackling them. That's the thing. One thing that was not brought up by anyone yesterday is that Indianapolis running the 2-point conversion with Anthony Richardson is almost a guarantee. Like he's going to get it.
Yeah, the only thing that they alluded to on the broadcast, and this wasn't Zoe and Sosi, this was on the TV, was that in that circumstance, the quarterback carry is very difficult to stop. But I think that they stopped short, and they should have said, no, it's difficult to stop Anthony Richardson and as you said, Fred, Josh Allen, maybe add in one or two other guys. But that guy in that situation, you're not going to stop him.
No, and because you can't sell out to stop him because he could always flip the ball, and then when you can't sell it to stop him, one guy's not going to keep him out of the end zone.
Right.
I seen him do it. I saw him do it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
he knocked a safety on his ass to win a game.
Who did he do it to 2 weeks ago?
It's very sad for my son and I's relationship. He's looking at me differently now.
Because you forced him into this and now he's stuck?
Well,
Not because I forced him into anything. He's just like, why do you watch this nonsense?
John, let Fred wallow in this belief that he's only going to watch like 2 more football games with his son ever, and this is it.
Yeah, that's it. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub.
All right, well, let's not jump ahead because in the fourth quarter there was some Patriots offensive highlights. 12, thank you.
Handoff Gibson. Waits to pick an opening. Runs to the left side. And he's finding his way into the end zone. Antonio Gibson. Touchdown, Patriots.
Can't lose to this team. Ramondre Gibson. You name it. Gibson came to run with a purpose today, and he shows it.
So the Patriots will go for 2 with an empty formation. May with a snap to Drake. Drops back. Throws it right toward the goal line. Passes caught. Kayshon Boutte, 2-point conversion, New England.
Mayday, baby.
Well, I think it's booty. 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 That's what it is.
I guess this whole notion that you can beat Indianapolis, that you should beat Indianapolis, they're much better than you. I mean, Indianapolis is a much better team than you.
It has a lot to do with the quarterback.
Okay.
It has. I can only speak for myself. It has a lot to do with the guy. Anthony Richardson completed 12 passes yesterday.
I know, but again,
he's that big kid on the playground you can't tackle.
but he's also not
That's
a
all
rookie.
he is.
But if your rookie is playing better than him, then you've won the season. You're not. But this notion that Indianapolis is like a worse team than you, that's not true. Their offensive line is a million times better than yours. Their defensive line is a million times better than yours. They're just better.
They're skill position players. Jonathan Taylor is better than Ramondre. The wide receivers are better. No, the point is made, but
No, I know. But
I'm watching the game unfold in front of me, and Anthony Richardson had like 2 completions in the first half.
No, but
like, why is this game close? And the Patriots couldn't get out of their own way.
No, I know.
Drake May is moving the team up and down the field and is hamstrung by his offensive line.
But that's, again, this is the best case scenario. Like, this is what Drake May's your best player. Drake May and Christian Gonzalez are your best players. 1 second year and one's a rookie quarterback. This is like heaven on earth. You don't know how well you have it.
By the way, you mentioned Christian Gonzalez. Congratulations to Hardy. Hardy
again.
cashed in yesterday, baby.
Talk about burying the lead.
Richardson on the drop. Steps up. Throws down the middle. Passes intercepted. Christian Gonzalez breaks in front of Pierce.
Give me a face
He picks
mask,
it
too.
off at the 48-yard line of New England.
And he got a face mask. Should have called it.
Yeah, they had to review that 10 times.
Way to go, undercut this thing. Great anticipation by Gonzalez. The defense forces another turnover.
Christian Gonzalez, regular season defensive interceptions for 2024-2025, plus 1.5. I got it at plus 112, and I got it twice because I told a neighbor about it, and he was like, why don't you throw something on that for me too? I said, all right. Now, this doesn't cash until the end of the season because it's a regular season bet. But you know what I did, John?
What's that?
I went ahead and Venmo'd my neighbor his share of the pot right away. I said, go ahead. You take yours now.
Wow.
Don't worry about
That's some compassion I didn't think you had. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
And then, he knew when to do it because he was looking at him through the window.
Yeah, I peeked through my window. I did. I saw he was watching the game. So I texted him. Just a money bag, but I used the screen effect where it just kind of dances all over the screen.
Sure.
And then I sent him his money.
You know who has two interceptions for their career? Sauce Gardner.
Oh. Huh. Now, we're comparing the offenses here. And that was a great play by Gonzalez, fantastic. However, the Colts were able to run the ball yesterday, and that was supposed to be where they were going to have some issues going into this game. They had a guy on the offensive line who's been there for about 15 minutes. They had somebody playing right tackle who had never played right tackle before. They had a new center in. So they've got all these issues that were supposed to affect their running game. It, for the most part, did not. Defensively is where I think this ended up hurting you. Yeah, there are differences on the offense, and there's differences between, the weapons and what you can do and how much you're hamstrung by your offensive line. But defensively, the Patriots should have been able to do more against that Colts offensive line yesterday.
Sure, and they got manhandled between the tackles especially. But that was the glaring. You thought when you had Christian Barmore there and Godchild there, okay, at least we'll be able to stop them in between the tackles.
Yeah.
The problem was when the Colts tried to pitch and work the perimeter. They had trouble doing that. But how many times did you see Jonathan Taylor slip out of 4 or 5 tackles and gain 6 yards?
Yep. Now, Bob and Zoe were both convinced it was going to overtime, maybe because they've been watching the Patriots all year, and that's what you do. You don't play to win. You just go for overtime.
17 seconds to go. Here's the ball game. Snap to Richardson. Back to pass. Stands in the pocket. Throws it end zone. Pierce near side. Touchdown, Indianapolis.
OT.
Pitch and catch. Alec Pierce in front of Kyle Duggar. And the Colts are an extra point away from tying this game to force. So overtime, presumably, with 12 seconds to go in regulation.
OT, going to overtime, going to do that. No. I thought about it in the moment, as I normally do. I wonder if they go for 2.
The Colts
they're going for the
are going to
win.
go for it here.
Look at this.
So scratch
Take
those
some balls.
remarks about an extra point at overtime. Fake to Taylor. Run up the middle. Richardson plowing his way forward. He breaks the plane. He's in for the touch. 2-point run. And the Colts.
Man, that takes
on the
balls.
field. Celebrating from the
Nutson's
near
kid's
sideline.
right up in the mix. Man, he's got the field mic right in there.
Good for
I think
Dennis Knutson's kid getting up close and personal
Knudsen.
right there.
I think that is the group right in front of the booth.
Man.
They make it onto Mike
okay.
more than anything else. So those are Mike's bleeding, or those are bleeding over to Bob and Zoe's mics more than anything. So the Patriots with one last gasp.
And this kick will beat toward the enclosed end from the left hash. The snap is down. The kick is driven toward the uprights. The kick is sailing to the goalpost. The kick is just short. Sly hit it well. He hit it straight. He hit it far, but not far enough. Wow. And by the narrowest of margins, the Patriots fall to Indianapolis.
He didn't make a 68-yard field goal.
He actually hit the support at the base of the goalpost. I didn't think he was going to get that
That
close.
thing was dead in the middle.
Yeah.
So analytically, you should have thrown a Hail Mary there. You have a better chance of getting a Hail Mary than you do a 68-yard field goal, as that has never happened, especially outdoors. But the thing about the 2-point conversion is May could be that guy, by the way. If you think about it, I made the point that if I had Richardson, I'm definitely going for 2 there. The chances of him scoring from the 2 rather than driving you down the field for a touchdown is 1,000 times greater. If I had Josh Allen or Richardson, I'm going for 2 more often than not. I don't think they can be stopped. Richardson, he's maybe the best athlete for his size in the NFL. That's not a ridiculous notion. If he's not, then he's 2. And so I'd have him do it all the time. Drake May could be that kind of guy, too, with his size and athletic ability. He's not as athletic as Richardson, but he could be a Josh Allen type. He's a guy that he can barrel people over, get in the end zone. But I think too much was made about kicking a field goal there. It doesn't really matter. I guess you could have tried to throw a Hail Mary there, but whatever. The chances of either happening are very low. And I also, the narrative of that Indianapolis, was so aggressive and you were so conservative. I think Mayo is too conservative. But again, if I'm the Colts, I like my chances from there. I don't think there's any way you can stop us. I don't think that you can stop Richardson. A misdirection to Taylor. You have Taylor and Richardson. That's very, very, very difficult to beat from
your
the two.
point. Your point about asking him to drive down the field in overtime is solid. That he had to convert 3 fourth downs and get a pass interference on 3rd and long just to get the ball down the field. And even then, it was 19 plays and 80 yards, and a lot of things had to go right for him to do that. So,
I like him I've seen him do it before.
If you like that clip, and how could you not? Check out more videos from Toucher and Hardy here. Point slightly up and to the left. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. Point slightly down and to the left. And for the latest from the Sports Hub, download at 985thesportshub.com.